Hello, grade 6 students. Good morning. History chapter 6 New questions and ideas. The Sangha. What is the term Sangha? The Sangha means association. Sangha means association. Mahavira and Buddha left the house, the luxury life, and they led the ascetic sage. Okay. They left everything, their family, everything they left for gaining the true knowledge. Okay, now if anyone wants to gain true knowledge, they have to live the worldly pleasures, luxury life, their family, and then they have to join the Sangha or the association. And if you want to know the rules about the Buddhist Sangha, Jain Sangha is separate and Buddhist Sangha is separate. For Buddhism Sangha, they have to read the book Vinaya Pitaka. You have to read the book Vinaya Pitaka. And the rule to join the Sangha is men and women can join, children can join, afterwards the slaves can join, the king's servants can join, and then the debtors, the person who borrowed money, they also can join. But they have to get permission. Wife must get permission from the husband. Children must get permission from their parents. The king's servant must get permission from the kings. The servants, the slaves must get permission from the masters. And the debtors, the person who borrowed money, they must get permission from the person who gave money. So after getting permission only, the men, women, children, slaves, the king's servants, the debtors can join the association. Men and women who joined the Sangha lived in simple lives. They have to live the simple lives. They should not wear costly dress. They have to live the simple dress and simple life. They meditate for most of the time and went to cities and villages to beg for food during fixed hours. So they will not cook food. They have to beg food from the villages and cities, and then they must eat. That is also during fixed hours. That is why they were known as bhikshus. So the person who begs food, that means the Buddhist people, they go for food for house to house, villages and cities during the fixed hours. That is why they are called bhikshus. Are the in the Prakrit we say renouncer, that means beggar. We say the bhikshus are bhikkhunis. They taught others and helped one another. They also held meetings to settle any quarrels that took place within the Sangha. And they taught others the teachings of Buddhas. They taught and they helped one another, and also they had the meetings and in the Sanghas, if there is any quarrel, they gathered the association and they solved the problem. Those who joined the Sangha included Brahmins, Kshatriyas, merchants, laborers, barbers, courtesans and slaves. Also, the person from various varnas, they joined Brahmins, Kshatriyas, merchants, laborers, barbers, courtesans and slaves. Many of them wrote down the teachings of Buddha. Some of them also composed beautiful poems describing their life in the Sangha. So there are many poets. They are able to write poems. So those who are able to read and write, they composed songs, they composed the poems of the teachings of the Buddha. Monasteries. To begin with, both Jaina and Buddha monks went from place to place throughout the year, teaching people. So they will not stay in the same place. they will go from place to place to teach the people. The only time they stayed in one place was during the rainy season. During the rainy season, they will stay in one place, and the other seasons they will go from place to place. When it was very difficult to travel, then their supporters built temporary shelters for them in gardens, or they lived in natural caves in hilly areas. So the people were feeling difficult to travel. That time, the persons who support them, they built a temporary shelters for them to stay there in their gardens, or they lived in natural caves in the hilly areas. As time went on, many supporters of the monks and nuns and they themselves felt the need for more permanent shelters, and so monasteries were built. So, as time went on, many supporters and nuns, monks and nuns, and they themselves, they need the permanent shelters. They felt because they cannot always stay here and there, so they need shelters. So they built. These were known as viharas. Madangal we say in Tamil. Viharas were made of wood and then of bricks. Some were in caves that were dug out in hills, especially in Western India. So they were made with the as like us. Okay, brick and wood they made the house, and then in caves also they lived in hills, and particularly in caves means it is in Western India. Yeah, Buddhist text tells. One of the Buddhist book tells us, just as the water of rivers lost their names and their separateness when they flow into the mighty ocean, so are Varna and ranks and family forgotten with the followers, which the followers of Buddha join the order of monks. So the Buddhist text tells the water of the rivers when they join the ocean, they lost their names, the mighty ocean. Finally, they become as a ocean. And if they are in the rivers, they are telling Ganga, Yamuna, Brahmaputra, Kaveri, like that we say with different names. When all the rivers join the ocean, they all say it is as a one word ocean. Like that, in the families or in the Varnas, Vishya Brahmins, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, Sudras. We say like that. And in the families we say. But when they join the Buddha's Sangha and when they become the followers of Buddha, they will have only one rank, monks. Very often the land on which the viharas was built was donated by a rich merchant or the landowner or the king. The local people can come with gifts of food, clothing and medicines for it, nuns, for monks and nuns. In return, they taught the people. Over centuries, Buddhism spread many parts of subcontinent and beyond. You will learn more about this in chapter 9. So, the people who are the supporters and following Buddhism, they can donate for the monks. Okay, how they can donate? They can donate the land also. Okay, for building the monasteries, and they can even provide them food, clothing, medicines for the monks and nuns. And in return, the monks will teach the people, and this Buddhism spread throughout the country and subcontinent India fully, and also in the neighboring countries China, Japan, and then Sri Lanka. Understand, like this different parts of the world the Buddhism spread. With this lesson is over, children, and kindly go through this. Thank you, children.